Hi, I'm Dr. Papya Bhattacharjee. In this problem, we are going to evaluate some limits. We do have a limit that's already given. Limit of a function as x approaches c is 16. We don't know the expression of function. We don't know what c is. It's not necessary. But we have to use this fact to evaluate these three limits for these three new functions. So we are going to apply some basic properties of limit to solve this problem. So let's remember first what those basic properties are. So suppose we have any general, in a general case, suppose we have the limit of a function as x approaches c is L. Then we can compute the limit as x approaches c of any nth root of the function f. And if the limit already exists for f, which means we already have a value L, then using the property, this new limit is going to be just plug in the value for the limit of f. So this is just nth root of L. You do have to be careful about one fact here. Notice that this n can be any positive integer if this n is even, so say square root, then you have to be careful that the value L is not negative, because you cannot have a negative number inside of square root, for example. So if n is even, we have to have that L is a positive value. So that's one restriction we have for this particular limit. For second one, so suppose we want to evaluate the limit of this function f multiplied with some number, some real number b. So if this is a new function, so what is the limit of that? If limit of f already exists, then what we can do is this constant can basically be pulled outside the limit. And then we will only evaluate limit of fx. So this is a scalar multiple that we can pull outside. So this is equal to b times limit of f of x. And limit of f of x is L. So the answer will be BL. Last property is limit as x approaches c of the function f to the power some positive integer n. Again, if the limit already exists, we know the value, then this is just substituting the value L for the f. So it's just going to be L to the power n. So those are the basic properties of limit. Let's use them and try to solve these three limits right here. So the first one, we have to evaluate the limit of square root of the function. And the limit of the function already exists. It's right here. It's 16. So we can apply the property A and consider n is 2, so it's a square root. And then the answer will be just square root of the limit that is given, which is 16. Notice n is even and the value inside this L is a positive value. So we can apply the property. And square root of 16 is 4. So this is the answer for the first limit. Let's try the second one. Here we have the function f multiplied by 3, the scalar 3. So like I said, we can go back to property B here and see that if you have a constant, you can just multiply the constant with the original limit. So we take the constant 3, multiply with the original limit 16. And 3 times 16 is 48. So that's answer for the second limit. The last one looks very similar to property C here. We have to figure out limit as x approaches to c. the function square. So n, right here the n is 2. So the answer is whatever our original limit is, and then raise it to the power 2. But the original limit is 16. So we do 16 square, and 16 square is 256. And that's the limit of the third one. Thank you.